All right, back computer is back computing. Fantastic. Morning, everybody. My name is Curtis, and morning, everybody. I said that backwards, but that's okay. I'll just move my hands around, and you'll forget. These aren't the droids you were looking for. Um, I keep thinking about all the different things that this show basically is. Also, the fact that I just recorded a podcast for an hour, so I've just been talking for an hour. Plus, my day job was before that, which was still quite a bit of talking and doing things, and uploaded another episode of this show before that. Um, and yeah, so this was a mistake. This was a terrible, terrible mistake. Doing uh, uh, four, four, four a week. That's not great. It's not that much, really, but it's it's still quite a bit of things to. I mean, it's just 20 minutes of just me rambling on. Basically, on the podcast, I'll go off on a few tangents, and Tara will be like, "Hey, hey, the tangent train is gone too far. Bring it back around, and let's talk about whatever it is we were actually talking about." Okay, let's keep it on the tracks. This show is more or less about unhooking that leash and allowing myself to explore all the tangents wherever they might go or uh, might lead back to, because sometimes they do come around, and I do remember why I started going on like a crazy person, and a lot of times I just don't, and that's okay too. This time, however, I almost remember why I started to talk about this, even though I do make notes for this show. You'd be surprised, but I have a few things where I'm like, this is what I'm going to talk about, and then I completely can't remember any of them. Um, there's a phone in the background, but hopefully that will get answered quickly and will not be any of my concern. Um, no, yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's not. If I didn't have a day job, this would be nothing. This would be nothing other than like, oh, I'm going to spend a lot of time making content, i.e., the cartoons that do go into this show, and or whatever else. Like, I want to do a lot of things and have this be the venue from which they can spring from. Um, but yeah, it's still quite a bit of things to do, and as much as it is a terrible mistake, most terrible mistakes are exactly the right route to take. It usually means, all right, cool, this is hard, this is difficult, but I'm still having fun when I actually get around to doing it. That's why big companies exist. That's why things that you've heard of uh, are out there in a way where you can hear of them because somebody was like, no, 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 I'm gonna stay up all night. I'm gonna get this done. This Pepsi thing is gonna be a thing that people that they just drink every day. It's gonna be their choice of what they have with their breakfast first thing in the morning. Even though they really shouldn't. That shouldn't be your breakfast drink. A lot of people do it, but it just, I mean, it shouldn't be anything you drink anyway. What I'm going for is how everybody knows about Pepsi, and it's because mostly very hard work, determination, putting a lot of money and time into things, blah 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 blah. It wasn't because somebody said, I got this day job. I'll just keep working at that as hard as I can, and that's gonna work out great, and I'll just be happy doing that all the time. And most of the time, people are happy doing that. And like I said, I basically used to do this show at my day job, and it was like, well, that's really fun. I don't want to stop doing that part, so I just have to do it after my day job or before. But that means I have to start waking up early, and right now it's already too late to be doing a morning show. But that's how you do things. Don't worry about it. I already know it's going to be important on Thursday, and happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend, and it's almost Easter, so there you go. A lot of people get some days off. A lot of people don't because it's not the olden days, and nobody cares anymore, and whatever. I don't know what I think about anything. This show, one of the tangents that I started to follow there, is basically what I used to do as a supervisor for children's television animation. Um, I mean, first, I got hired as just like, you're an animator. Go animate this. Animate what? Camping gear. Doing camping stuff. Like people... No, just the gear. I don't know what this means. Here you go. Here's pictures. Make it do this thing. It's to teach people how to do stuff when they camp. I think the whole point of camping is that you know that stuff? Or you really go to the internet for that? How much is this going to cost? Lots of money? That's insane. The internet used to be really insane. It wasn't just full of free information. There was a lot of people trying to make just tutorials on everything and charge money for them, like before YouTube, and then all of a sudden YouTube was like, hey, check it out. Here's how you do everything. And it's all there. And like I discussed in the last episode, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that it's not helpful at all. But it's still somebody going, let me show you how to do everything, even though I know nothing. But I would go into the studio manager's office, and I don't know. I feel so stupid. But like basically, I was an animator, and then it was like, you're a supervisor. I'm a supervisor? This project is almost done. Yeah, but you were a supervisor on it. It's in the credits, and you organized a bunch of stuff. That's kind of what supervising is. Okay, I guess I was a supervisor. Like, good to know. Like, I don't know. That's sometimes you fall into a job. Sometimes you don't realize you can do something until you've been doing it for a little while, and I'd been doing it for months, and I didn't realize. So then we hired a bunch of people, and a guy I didn't know came in and is like, all right, I'm the manager, and then you're the supervisor of what the director says to do, and then you take care of all these people at night. So like you'll be here from 5 at night until 2 in the morning, and then there will be no bus, and cabs are expensive, and you live kind of like an hour away by foot, so you will be walking home in the middle of the night through the most dangerous neighborhood in town, but you won't think it's the most dangerous neighborhood in town because you think it's somewhere else and has a slightly different name, but you're wrong. And that's what I did. So the very first night with a crew, I literally put my feet up on a desk and was like, I don't know, all these people are doing the work. I already did all the organization, and now that there's so many people, there's kind of a lot more time before I need to do the next level of organization. So I guess I'll just doodle. I'm just going to doodle over here until somebody has a problem. And if you've got a problem, well, I'll solve it. Just check out this hook over here. Well, the DJ revolves it. Ice Ice Baby. And I did. I just chilled. I chilled as cool as ice for the longest time. Then it was like, well, I can't do this. This is insane. After about an hour of supervising, I had to become busy. So I started doing stuff that needed to be done, like animation. I started doing the jobs of the people that we'd hired to do the job because they just, I don't know. I walked around like, does anybody need any supervision? No? You're cool? You're cool? Everyone? Okay. Carry on until, like, it's the first day. Until you do something, I have nothing to judge. So I just have to wait and hope somebody does something soon. And eventually, problems immediately arose, and I was very busy. I had to stop doing other things. So then I would sit down with the studio manager, Brendan, and say, so, I guess so last night I went over this with these guys. They started doing it. I wandered around. I realized I have no idea what a supervisor needs to do. Do you know what a supervisor does? I don't know what a supervisor does. And then I would just tell him the story, like every story of the night. Not on purpose. I didn't know I was telling stories. Like even right now, it becomes a story of me telling stories. But it would be, well, first Geiger came in and he had a note that he wanted to give to one of the other artists, but he wasn't sure if it was offensive or not. But it said, hey, can you knock it all up in my grill about how I label this thing? This is what I label it, and everybody else is cool with it. But I will change if you want me to, but just stop getting up in my grill about it or whatever. But it was also meant to be funny. That's why it said grill, because he's like a little guy that's not all like, hey, don't get up in my grill about things. and whatever. It was just like, is this guy gonna take this in the humorous way it was meant, or is he gonna punch me in the face? And I said, no, he's probably gonna think you're being a jerk and punch you in the face. But he would appreciate that you're trying to joke around with him. So find a different way that isn't requiring somebody to dissect the sarcasm and the underlying tones of a note. So he did, whatever, and they had a great time. And anyway, that's just one of the things. So I told this story, and after a while, I'm just like, so these nightly reports, like I literally would write down nightly report and write down everything, or I would sit in his office and just like this, just tell him a story, and then go back to work, and eventually it's just like review time. Like everyone gets reviewed, and I sat in just like, all right, I'm ready for the worst. Like what? I have no idea what a supervisor does. I don't know what I'm doing. This is insane. Like I hang out with these people. I tell them stories. If they have a weird question, I come up with a weird solution, and I don't know. I have no idea like what it is I'm supposed to do. And he was like I'm ready. Like just tell me how, whatever. I've never had a review before. Like just review me. I'm ready for it. Whatever. Tell me how terrible I am. I'm ready for it. And he said, what? No, you're doing fine. Like, that's all you're supposed to do. You take care of the problems, and then you pick up whatever extra stuff is lying around. And as far as this, like, I never asked for this. This is my favorite part. Like, what? You coming in and just telling me, I just wanted you to come. I'm not reviewing you. I don't care. You were here before me. You know what's going on. You know all the things that are going on. Just tell me the fun stories. Like, I love sitting here, and they're funny. Like, what? These are my reports. These are my work reports on the job and the factory people and the goings-ons. And yes, I tell the funniest stories of the night, and most of it doesn't matter because we're just making cartoons. And okay, cool. So when podcasting gets invented, I'll do that for other people then, because this is kind of fun. My favorite part of the day is also sitting in Brendan's office and telling him the stories of the midnight hours, because there always were some. Because I mean, in the report, I eventually realized that most factory type or office jobs, when they report on the people, part of the report doesn't involve, oh, and Jacques was saying that when he was here after we left, a lady ran down the street screaming, drunk, took off her top, and laid on the hood of a car, blocking traffic. So that goes in the report. Like that has nothing to do. That just means we're just on a kind of a crazy street corner, and everyone can see everything, and that's how cartoons are made. People up late, drawing pictures or programming computers and moving things around, and outside people are taking whizzes on the building constantly, all night long. They go to the bar and then they come over and they pee on our doorway because they don't think anyone's around, but we're all in there. And speaking of cartoons, let's watch a cartoon. Let's try a button. Can we all just agree to go back to round doorknobs and also agree to never clone the velociraptors? Is there any place I can go to get that kind of agreement? So the UN? Should I send a letter to the UN? And we're back. Alright, enough about the secret ins and outs of the animation industry, which mostly involved me putting my feet up on a desk and drawing pictures of... Actually, that first night, I made sure to draw actual characters from the show we're working on, so that, it seemed like a little bit of real work. And I've also noticed that the microphone is very, very slowly creeping down into the camera frame, as it tends to do, because the bungee cords I have keeping it out of frame have lost their elasticity because they're just from the dollar store. I'll figure out a better solution for that. and I will try not to talk about it on the show itself. Speaking of things that aren't meant to be talked about, there's a Batman, and there's a Superman, there's some other characters, and there's a versus in between, and it's a Dawn of Justice. I didn't want to talk about it. I need some water. Until it was out, until it was done. Just like all the other movies, I get so upset when people are just like, it's gonna be, and what it's gonna have, and then just wait, it's a movie. It doesn't exist yet. Everybody calm down. I've avoided most of the trailers for the Batman vs. Superman, just like the Ghostbusters and most other movies, so that when I do go to see them, I can just see the movie and not be like, oh, cool, that was basically what they promised me, except a very, very long, terrible version of it. It's usually more entertaining to be actually surprised by all the things as they happen, and or just, since a lot of times in the trailer that's the best part, and might as well keep that, something you can enjoy when you go to see the movie. The Rise of the Dark Knight Rises. I avoided the trailers. All I saw was the beginning with the ground falling, and I'm just like, what is this? Oh, it's Batman? Wow. I should probably go see that because it's Batman, and I'm so glad another one it's here, and I'm going, and yay. And then I went there, and it just went on and on and on for so very long. And then it was over, and I was like, I don't care. I like Bane. Bane's great, I guess. Catwoman's great. Like, it had a lot of great parts, but none of them went together, and none of it was about Batman. It was about so many other things, but yet not enough about the things to make any difference in my life or yours. And there are people that like that movie. That's fine. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying I was let down. This new movie, I've seen like so little, and then I watched a little bit of a trailer, and I'm like, oh, what is this? This might be fantastic. I recognize a lot of this from books that I really like. Maybe somebody's really just gonna be like, we're gonna make a real good thing here. It's not gonna be overblown with a bunch of extra nonsense. We're just gonna focus on the best stuff. And I don't know why I let myself think that, because it's a 2.5 hour long movie, and as near as I can tell, the only thing that's not wrong with it is Ben Affleck. I don't hate Ben Affleck. I never have. The Daredevil movie was an awful movie, but Ben Affleck had nothing to do with how awful that movie was, and whatever. It's got a cool bat suit. It's got a cool bat car. Even the Superman suit looks pretty good, but that Superman sucks. The story sucks. It just seems like a whole, like, I don't know. It just seems so crazy, just so crazy. It's too much. It's in a world where it's like I mean, they better call Saul type of crazy. Like, hey man, yeah, I'm rich, and this guy works at a newspaper or something. Anyway, we like destroyed everything. Even though we're the good guys, and we could have been like, at least the super guy could have easily said, hey Bruce, I'm gonna pick you up and take you to the desert, and we'll fight there, and that way you'll be at a disadvantage, and I'll probably just be able to kill you, or at least fend you off until you run out of batsuit power or whatever it is you're going to do to try and defeat me, or kryptonite, whatever, and and then it would make sense. But no, you want to see stuff explode. You want to see the big epic majesty of a fight in the city, and the rooftops, and going through the windows, and etc. And I mean, I get that. Like, that has to be in an action movie like that. But it's still Batman. It's still Superman. If the Justice League cartoons can do it in a way where it's like, yep, this all makes sense, and it's still an action-packed, full-blown adventure that spans over multiple half hours that could be strung together into 2 hours fairly easily. 2.5 hours, much as I've always wanted a longer movie and more Batman and more superness. It's just, if it's going to be punching for a long time, I've never been one to be able to sit down and go, "Oh, you guys are watching the big fight, whichever that is, the boxing or the UFCs or the mixed martial arts." Either way, watching two people beat on each other for hours, which fights I'm pretty sure don't do, is insane. Like, the Transformers, even worse because, like, you guys are just robots. Does any of this matter? Does anybody feel anything right now? What's happening? And when we get to the Batman and the Superman, it's already like, well, again, like Batman will have to bring Superman down a few pegs with magic or kryptonite or something, science, and or bring himself up mechanically so we don't have a boring just regular guy and regular guy fight. And then it gets crazy, and then Wonder Woman shows up, which I think would have been a cool surprise if I didn't know, like if I didn't see, like, oh my God, she's gonna show up. Oh, this is the beginning of the Justice League. I don't know. It's too crazy. Like I said, I feel like it's more of a phone call that Saul is like, oh yeah, hey man, you did what? Oh, that's nuts. Well then, you pack a bag and head to Pismo Beach, and I have some friends there, and they just don't ask any questions. They don't ask any questions. You can stay there. Don't worry. They don't even speak English, so it won't even be an issue, and you'll be safe. Don't tell anyone you know me. I'll send down a guy. He'll get you some paperwork. We're gonna set you up some new fake identities because you guys are crazy. You're crazy? Is there's not 900 other things you can do but destroy everything? Like, if your thing is, oh, you have too much power, Superman, I gotta take you down before you wreck something. Check yourself before you wreck everything. And then Superman's the same thing. You're too dark. You're too evil, Batman. You don't have the right to say that because if you're the same Superman from the last Superman movie, you already murdered everybody and you're a crazy person. And I don't know. I will eventually see it, of course. I don't know if I'll go to the theater. I can't handle disappointment in a theater. But usually just going to the theater makes me enjoy something 100 times better. So maybe I will, and that's the answer. Either way, I've already done so many shows today that I can't possibly do anymore. And it's time to get some sleep as soon as I edit this thing. And then, one more episode on Friday. That one is, of course, maybe not this Friday, but next Friday will be a live Twitch stream. So that's how this is going to work. 3 days, we do it in Curtis's Corner. And on Friday, I go to the office and we do a live Twitch stream. We give away some gems for the game Dragon Fighters Dungeon Wars that I work on. And I feature a castle, so if you play the game, I might talk about you, maybe make fun of you for no reason other than I have a show and I'm a jerk. Other than all of those things, and aside froms and whatnots and endings of a time long forgot, it's too late and I need to go to sleep. So shut up, Mr. Scott. See, nervous, rhyming. Everybody, just be good, be careful, and morning, everybody. Hey, click on my butt or Ripley's butt to subscribe. Click on my butt. Click on my butt. Click on my butt. Meow.